honorees, parents, faculty, student body, and guests. Good morning and welcome to Port Huron Northern's 20th Academic Award Assembly, honoring the accomplishments of 277 students. A special thank you to parents and faculty who encourage and support these young adults. Thank you also to the special guests who are sharing this morning with us. Mr. Thomas Crosby and Mrs. Rasha Damashki, Board of Education Trustees, Mrs. Barbara Daniels, Board President, Mr. William Kimball, Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Thomas Miller, Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Ed Breslin, Community Education Coordinator, and Mrs. Holly Quain, President, Greater Port Huron Area Chamber of Commerce. Thank you also to Mr. Jerry Edson, our guest speaker this morning. At this time, I would normally introduce Ms. Philpott. Sadly, there was a death in her family, and she is not able to be with us this morning. In her stead, I am pleased to introduce Mrs. Erin Eastman, a member of our dedicated teaching staff and an administrative intern working toward a degree in educational leadership. She has worked hard with Ms. Philpott, Mrs. Mavidi, and the student chairs to make this assembly so special. Mrs. Eastman?
Good morning, honorees, parents, guests, faculty, and students. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and welcome to Port Huron Northern's 20th Annual Academic Award Assembly. Today's assembly honors Northern's most successful academic students, those young men and women who have distinguished themselves by maintaining a cumulative grade point average of 3.5 or above. As we honor these students for their outstanding academic performance, it is important to thank and recognize the parents and Northern staff who have contributed to their success. Please join the honorees in thanking these very important people. Each year, the National Merit Scholarship Program identifies these high school seniors who performed exceptionally on the PSAT, the National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. This test is taken in October of the student's junior year. I am proud to introduce Elizabeth Clive, Muriel Thomas, and Raul Reddy as our National Merit semifinalists. Congratulations. I'm also proud to introduce Kimberly Seaton as a National Merit Commended student. Congratulations, Kimberly. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce and thank this year's Academic Award Assembly chairs, Kelsey DeGrow, Caitlin Abugaman, and Sarah Damashki. They have been absolutely wonderful. I would also like to publicly thank their dozens of volunteers who made this special event possible. Lastly, I would like to introduce our distinguished platform guest. Good morning and welcome. The Academic Award Assembly recognizes those students who have demonstrated academic excellence by maintaining a cumulative grade point average of 3.5 or above throughout their high school career. During the 1983-1984 school year, the Port Huron Area School District, with the support of the Greater Port Huron-Marysville Chamber of Commerce, committed itself to more visibly recognizing and rewarding the academic excellence of its students. Representing the Chamber of Commerce this morning are Mrs. Holly Quain, Chamber President, and Mr. Tom Miller, Chamber Chair. In an effort to accomplish this recognition, the Academic Award Program was initiated for the 1984-1985 school year. In November of 1985, Northern held its first annual Academic Award Assembly, honoring 91 students. 20th Annual Academic Award Assembly, we are proud to honor 277 students. Of this number, 118 sophomores, juniors, and seniors are being recognized for the first time and will be awarded pins to signify their academic excellence. 81 juniors and seniors who received pins at last year's assembly and who have maintained a 3.5 or above for the past 2 years are now being awarded Port Huron Northern academic letters embroidered with the link of knowledge. Finally, 78 members of the class of 2005, having maintained the cumulative 3.5 or above for the past 3 years, are receiving gold bars to be pinned to their academic letters. And now Kelsey DeGrow, Senior Chair, will introduce our speaker.
It is my pleasure today to introduce our speaker, Mr. Jerry Edson, but first I would like to say a few things about him. Mr. Edson was born in Port Huron, and he attended Garfield Elementary, kindergarten through 9th grade. He then went on to Port Huron High School to become student council president for his class of 1959. He went to pursue his college education at University of Michigan, then transferred to Albion and graduated in 1964 in political science with a minor in philosophy. He then went off to attend Harvard Law School and graduated from there in 1967. During the 1970s, he was a candidate for state representative and served on the Port Huron Area School District Board of Education. Mr. Edson opened the first legal aid office in St. Clair County. Not only did Mr. Edson do this, he also opened this very fun place that I know all of you know about. And you're wondering what it is I'm talking about? Well, it's the Raven Coffee House. You all have Mr. Edson to thank for that cool hangout spot. So now, after all this being said, I'd love to have Mr. Edson come up and say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My biggest challenge this morning will be trying to say what I have to say in the time that's allotted. I always had that problem when I was an attorney in court, too long-winded, so I'll do my best anyway. Today I've been asked to speak about two topics: the importance of your making positive choices and the effects it can have on your life, and the importance of giving back to your community. I asked myself why I was asked to be here today, and I guess it has to do with the Raven, because a lot of people at Northern, faculty and students, really like the Raven and really appreciate it. But I need to make one thing clear to you, and that is that I didn't open the Raven or put the effort into building it and so on really out of a sense of trying to give back to the community. That I want to make that clear. That wasn't my motive. I saw an old building that was a Civil War era building, and it was in really bad disrepair, and I saw an opportunity to just work on an old building, which is something I really enjoyed doing. So I really did that. It was kind of a dream I had for a long time of having a coffee house type place like I was used to in college days. That having been said, I'll now try to deal with these topics. I think the topics themselves are like really obvious. They're almost so obvious they're hard to talk about. I mean, all of you know the importance of making positive choices, and you know the destructive things that can happen when you make bad choices. I could go down the list. I'm sure your teachers and parents and other people have said to you over and over, such things as drugs, alcohol, drunk driving, risky sexual behavior, getting in trouble with the law, all of those kinds of things at your age obviously can put marks on you that can really affect your future life and your success. We all know that. And you all know that making good positive choices, especially trying to make the best out of your school years, is going to really help you in the long run. The second thing about giving back to your community, we all are aware in our communities of people that really do go out of their way to give to others. I mean, you have examples of coaches, teachers, counselors, ministers, people in the community on community boards that take jobs that are not paid for to be on government committees, the Red Cross, the United Way. All of these things where people are volunteering their time and giving back. And we all know that this would be a really poor place to live in if we didn't have the contributions of these people. And hopefully all of you will at some time in your life start to begin to consider how you can get involved in those things when you finally end up in some community. Not so obvious, however, and maybe speak about a little is what is a positive choice and how do you make those choices? Normally, it's phrased to you in terms of what you can do to be more successful in your life, meaning in a materialistic way, like what kinds of things can you do that will further you in a career. And unfortunately, our society seems to place an undue emphasis on material things and the accumulation of wealth and money. And I think we have to stop and maybe remember that these positive choices, they aren't self-evident. They should involve an element of value, of character, and that's often not discussed too much. When you make these choices, there should be some question involved of whether it will really make a difference to anyone or it has any meaning, not just whether it's going to make you some more money in the long run. Sometimes, for some people, these value choices and trying to find some meaning in the choices that they're making comes from a basis of faith. We have a lot of people that are religious, and that fills in the gap left by this rather shallow culture that we live in. But for other people who don't get into the life of faith so much, they have to make these choices themselves. So that means they have to think about values and what they're going to choose. There was a saying by Nietzsche that he who has the why of life can deal with any how. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. Even in our own founding documents in our country, this idea of making choices is very paramount. Think about the Declaration of Independence. It says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and that among these are the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Notice the third one. That was a pretty new thought, I would think, back in the 1700s, the pursuit of happiness. But it's not the right to happiness, or the right to equal happiness, or the right to equal wealth, or equal good looks, or equal anything. It's the right to the pursuit of this thing called happiness. And if you notice, it's a verb. It's an active verb, and it requires a subject. And that subject is you. And so it means every person has the right to pursue, to be free to try to become happy or what makes them happy. So that again, it means that you have to make the choices. You have to be that active verb there to get those things. Now, what sometimes keeps people from making good, solid choices and well-grounded choices? Well, one thing is that we often compare ourselves with others around us, and we get discouraged because we think, well, that person, has more than I have, or they came from a better background, or their parents had more money, or they're better educated, or something like that. The problem with that is that if you think about it, you're comparing yourself with other people in your own locale, and in a larger sense, other people in the United States. What you sometimes never think about is that there are probably 3/4 of the population of young people your age in the world today, teenagers all over the world, that are sitting somewhere today in some classroom or some grass hut or somewhere in the world that do not have anywhere near the things that we all have here. Probably 3/4 of these kids are in underdeveloped countries that live in rural villages that don't even have indoor plumbing, let alone good water or electricity or even the right to go to a school. A lot of these kids will never, ever be allowed to go to school to get an education or to ever get out of the villages they're born into and the life of misery that they're enduring and just struggling to try to survive day to day with their families. So when you sit back and if you have a tendency to think, well, I don't have this or that, or I didn't have these advantages when I grew up, stop and think about the advantages you really do have. Just the mere fact that you live in this country and is so much better than most of the people in the world of your own age. It should give you the courage to say, I can really make something of this life of mine. It doesn't matter where I came from in this country. The other thing is, people often feel like if they're in a rut or they're not making these good choices, if somehow or other, I'm fated. This is my fate. I guess I can't do anything about it. There's a line from a play, and I'm not even sure where it came from, but I think it's Julius Caesar, but I may be wrong. It's a Shakespearean play, and it goes something like this. I fear our fate lies not in stars, dear Brutus, but in ourselves. Because way back in the world of that time, there was this notion of fate, that somehow or other when bad things happened to you, it was just kind of your fate. You couldn't do anything about it. But it really, there is no external force out there that is fating you to lead some sort of life or other. The real fate is in your own character. Somewhere else in Shakespeare, I think he said, character is fate. Meaning, the way you're going to end up in life has a large part to do with your own character, the traits that you have and the behaviors that you exhibit. But the thing about character is it may have been shaped somewhat by your background and people around you and your parents, but you have the ability at all times to start altering the very character that you have. You can make choices about the kind of person you're going to be, the kind of attitude you're going to have about your circumstances that can completely change that character that you have. That's your choice. That's the ability to make the choice that you can make. So, we all have examples of people that have overcome huge odds. Here again, I'm going to do a little guesswork, but I think it was George Washington Carver, a famous black American. It may have been a different famous black American, but it was one of the people like that in our past that became a famous, well-recognized, educated, scientific person, and he came from a family of something like 9 children living in a dilapidated dwelling somewhere in the South, who normally would have supposedly had no chance to be anything. But that person rose completely above his background and anything that would hold him down and became an outstanding individual. And anybody in this room can do that. They have the ability to do that. It's all how you think about yourself. And perhaps an extreme example of that was given by Viktor Frankl. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he was a Jewish psychiatrist who lived through the Holocaust and was in concentration camps in Germany for 3 or 4 years. And his whole family was murdered in that whole thing, and they all died in these camps. But Frankl survived that, and he founded a theory of or a school of psychotherapy called logotherapy. And he found that in those camps, the prisoners who did not survive and who seemed to perish the easiest were those who gave up their integrity, those who started to cheat on the other prisoners, maybe to get another slice of bread or to live one day longer, and started to do nasty things to their comrades in there for their own advantage. In other words, they lost their integrity, they gave up their honor. And he said that the ones who maintained, in spite of having everything taken away from them and not having a clue if they were going to survive this or not, but maintained a sense of their integrity while they were there and refused to give in and betray others, seemed to have an inner strength that led to many of them surviving this whole thing. And on that basis, he noted that there seems to be a quest in every person for meaning, to make their life meaningful, to make it mean something, to think about their life. Now, what are my choices here, and what's it going to mean in terms of values here? So I say to you today, all of you, whether you're the honor students here who have been making some good choices, and you've got a lot of things to choose in your life ahead of you, I say it to you, to those of you who perhaps aren't in that group right now, but can be much more maybe than you think you can be, that we all stop and remember how lucky we are simply to be here and not somewhere else in this world, and to have the right to make these choices and the opportunities to chart your own course. And I think that the success in your life and these choices that you can make will start as soon as you have the courage to put your hand on this rudder and take control of your own life, and have the courage and the willingness to face the unknown, perhaps the uncharted waters of your own life, and to go in the direction you choose, in spite of other people around you who may try to turn you away from that. And what you need to remember is that you always possess, no matter what else your circumstances are, the awesome power of choice. Thank you.
Thank thank you for those inspiring words. In appreciation to your contribution of speaking to us today, we'd like to present you with this gift. Now, I would like to introduce Mrs. Forrest and Mr. Wagner, who will present first-year pins to the class of 2007. Audience, please hold your applause until all recipients have been recognized.
The 10th grade first-year pin honorees are as follows: Kelsey Bays, Nicholas Branch, Charles Brensky, Christina Brooks, Rachel Brooks, Jeffrey Bruff, Diane Brown, Tyler Bustaker, Alicia Bouchor, Jillian Kahn, Christine Carr, Angela Clark, Chad Coates, Robert Colgan, Dennis Cornwell, Zachary Davis, Sarah Damashki, Samuel Denemy, Jonathan Dewey, Tiffany Drollinger, Brianna Dussler, Rebecca Elsner, Amanda Everett, Raylene Everett, Ashley Fagan, Christine Fredendahl, Megan Fredendahl, Daniel Gaffney, Marianne Gaglio, Elaine Gamalski, Anna Garcia, Austin Garcia, Tiffany Gerhart, Lindsay Gittner, Paul Gleishaw, Matthew Gordon, Brandon Green, Brandon Gutierrez, William Harder, Nathan Hearn, Caitlin Herring, Aaron Hickey, Rebecca Hill, Kathleen Hutton, Rachel Jameson, Sandeep Jawani, Nicole Johnson, Julia Jowett, Amy Kamer, Elizabeth Kelly, Jonathan Kleiner, Benjamin Kramer, Rachel Kudzia, Shell Kunji, Shayna Lavati, Andrew Lobb, Sean Loftus, Nathan Lukes, Jessica Loxton, Christy Lukashevsky, Colleen McCallum,
Congratulations, honey.
Nicole Mancini,
You're going this way, right?
Taylor Manulo, Mitchell Martin, Danielle May, Raheem Merchant, Carolyn Meyer, Megan Meinard, Leslie Moreau, George Moss, Matthew Mullally, George Knackley. Carolyn Nichols. Robert Noble. Jonathan Ochek. Sunita Paknikar. Richard Papinall. Anthony Pariso. Joan Patrick. Joseph Polatowicz. Jenna Rashid. Nicholas Reed. Diane Robb. William Rush. Bradley Schneider. Megan Schopp. Carly Schultz. Brady Shagney. Preston Sherwood. Thomas Smith. Amy Sparling. Kim Thomas. Matthew Thompson. Christina Thrushman. Todd Todden. Brittany Van Raphorst. Justin Villa. Luke Wallace. Veronica Ward. Ashlyn Wayne. Kansas Wentz. Amy West. Ryan West. Michael Wilton. Nathaniel Wine. Jessica Wooster. Christina Zinkel. Congratulations to the class of 2007 10th grade first year winners. Next, Mr. Mossett and Mrs. Daniels, President of the Port Huron Area School District Board of Education, will recognize the juniors. Audience, please hold your applause until all recipients have been recognized. Thank you.
Good morning. Caitlin Abughanim. Bradley Bailey. Caitlin Boyd. Andrew Bradley. Ashley Bruckner. Kyle Bruckner. Jessica Bryce. Connor Bouajur. Brandy Carl. Ashley Costello. Catherine Curry. Renee Colbert. Mary Dargali. Jeffrey Davidson. Corey Davidson. William DeRocha. William Doss. Angela Eck. Emily Epley.
Congratulations, hon.
Alexander Ernst.
Congratulations. Cool shoes.
Porfirio Garcia.
Congratulations.
Michael Hayes.
Congratulations.
Jordan Ayer. Rebecca Hightoff.
Congratulations, Becca.
Jason Hindis. Wade Hindis.
Congratulations, twins.
Ryan Hines. Rebecca Hoy.
Congratulations.
Jacqueline Isaacson. Mark Jarvis. Kyle Camadoy.
Congratulations.
McKenna Kern.
Way to go, Kyle. Congratulations.
Scott Kirby. Stephanie Kraus. Ben Kunji, Emily Ladd, Eugene Lefebvre, Thomas Lane, Allison Lowe, Heather May, Robert McDougall, Ryan McNamee, Casey Mikolaic, Robert Moore, Jenna Muir, Addison Muntz, Katrina Nays, Matthew Ordowski,
Congratulations.
Pearl Paula Danaeus,
Congratulations.
Haley Parrish, Adrian Pennington, Jamie Peters, Brian Pfeiffer, Angela Pidletsky, Daniel Reel, Kevin Robertson, Amanda Robinson, Greg Rothery, Zachary Shibley, Courtney Schlitz, Ashley Snyder,
Congratulations, Coach.
Matthew Schrader,
Congratulations.
Stacy Sherbut, John Slump, Melissa Smith, Janelle Somerville, Jacqueline Sparling, James Sparling, Casey Stank, Jennifer Summerer, Stephen Trask, Laura Uribe, Rachel Vanderay, Matthew Walk, Stephanie Weiss, Whitney West, Andrew Westrick, Kristen Wiley, Robert Wilkinson, Brandon Wilton,
Sorry, I got
Stephanie Whitliff, Anna Wright. Congratulations. Now, Mrs. Voitas and Mr. Kimball, Superintendent of the Port Huron Area School District, will recognize the seniors. Audience, again, please hold your applause until all recipients have been recognized.
Laura Adamson, Ryan Anglin, Robert Brown, Aaron Burry, Andrew Busher, Amanda Cassidy, Christy Sharon, Amy Clark, Elizabeth Clive, Christine Cuppin, Joshua Davis, Scott Detto, Kelsey DeGrow, Christopher Enders, Nicole Ferguson, Sherry Furness, Rachel Gaffney, Caleb Girdham, John Glimbowski, Amy Goen, Ann Grant, Amanda Greer, Stephen Hall, Katie Harrington, Shayna Hart, Jennifer Haslam, Justin Hearn, Katie Hesterberg, William Howard, Nicole Jablonski, Kathleen Uzista, Angela Kamer, Casey Kern, Ashley Kibbe, Anna Kleinert, Virginia Kleinstecker, Kevin Noost, Nathan LaBelle, Tamara Lavati, Sarah Leslie, June Liu, Stephanie Lone, Eric Mastria, Sarah May, James Mazer, Bridget McCarthy, Christina McCracken, Marissa Menard, Julie Moss, Jennifer Molds, Randall Muir, Andrew Mullally, Joseph Knackley, Mark Naplin, Benjamin Neal, Tiffany Norton, Darren Odell, Tara Paquin, Jeremiah Patrick, Derek Peterson, Kelly Pitlash, Allison Porritt, Lindsay Prouse, Caitlin Rashid, Rahul Reddy, Emily Robb, Christopher Ropish, Grace Rush, Sarah Ruiz, Jacob Schlegel, Casey Schlager, Kimberly Seaton, Kathleen Seraphin, Natalie Shields, Megan Slyford, Kara Smith, Andrew Tetro, Muriel Thomas, David Thompson, Grace Titus, Matthew Turnbull, Molly Tuttle, Jason Walls, Rebecca Wilson, Robert Wirtz, Lindsay Wright, Dustin Youngs, Alicia Zimmer. Congratulations, seniors. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Sarah Damashki, who will present our exchange students. Sarah?
It gives me great pleasure to introduce Atsushi Kanai, Christina Vondrachikova, and Eduardo Lopez.
Never mind. I'm going to try to keep you interest in what I'm going to say right now. And to start, I have a few words in Portuguese. Como vocês se sentiriam em país completamente estranho, com milhares de pessoas que vocês nunca viram, falando uma língua que você nunca ouviu falar? And what I said is basically, how would you feel to be in an exchange country We're thousands and thousands of miles away from your home in a country that you don't know a lot about it. And being an exchange student is an awesome and unique experience, but there's also a process of adaptation, and you can find yourself in trouble sometimes. I'll say a little bit about Brazil and our high school, how things work there. We have 24 subjects all year, 12 each semester, so it's pretty hard there. That's why I want to graduate here. And if you want to have a good education, you have to go to a private school. And in numbers, it's basically what you pay here, about $600 each month. And my time in class is about 4 hours, 5 hours a day. So I have 6 subjects each day. And parents' rules and society rules. I can basically do whatever I want to, leave the house at the time that I want to go, come back the time that I want to go back. And Fridays and Saturdays, I hang out with my friends, we go to bars and stuff, do stuff that you all know that I do, and play cards, dance a little bit, listen to music, and have some fun. The biggest difference between Brazil and US is culture, as you probably know. Your food is totally different. My main meal is lunch instead of dinner, so I'm getting crazy with lunch at school. I can't eat French fries and nuggets the whole day. The language is also different. My mother language is 100% Portuguese. We don't have a second language at all. The music styles are totally different. Although we have all the things that you do, but you don't have some of the things that Brazilian music does. The weather and climate, the seasons, you really have the season. You can see the leaves falling from the trees in the fall and the snow in the winter. I've never seen snow before. Our temperature is from 40 to 80 the whole year. The clothing, I came here with a pair of shorts and some t-shirts, and I realized that in the winter it's not going to be possible to hang out in the streets using that. Laws and rules from your government and parents and stuff. What you do here for entertainment is totally different. You have to go back at home about midnight or something. I'm not saying all of you, but some of you do. Your parents' rules are really straight. It's not loose as my parents are. And it's a totally different society. Basically because of your economy and your economic power, because I live in a third world country and it's pretty different for me to be here in the first world country. Being on your own is something really hard as an exchange student, because you're totally independent, so you can do whatever you want, but you need to be responsible because nobody will back you up. You have to manage your money, and this is something really hard to do because I've spent $500 just eating in 2 months and a half. I just gained 5 pounds. You miss people that help you out. For example, before I came here, I have to collect like 500 sheets of paperwork to present to Rotary and be an exchange student. And here I don't have nobody to do that for me. If I want something, I have to go there and do stuff. But when you need some support, there's always people there to back you up. I can say my host parents and my teachers here at school. I would like to say Coach Becker's name because he really helped me when I was in a bad mood. I've been here for 2 or 3 months. I'm not counting anymore because I just don't want to. And it's been a wonderful experience for me, and I look forward to the rest of my year. And I can see myself living here for my whole life, doing college and making some money. So basically my idea is if you have a chance to be an exchange student, you just grab it and go for it because you won't regret, you won't waste your time.
So, hello everybody. It's very nice to meet you all here. I want to say that what Eddie said was basically true. It's kind of difficult to be exchange student, although it is a beautiful experience. So be nice to us. Because sometimes you're having a hard time, although it's a great fun, usually. I would also start with a couple words in Czech. It is my language. Dobrý den. Mé jméno je Kristýna Vondráčková a pocházím z maličké země přímo uprostřed Evropy, jejíž jméno je Česká republika a hlavní město Praha. Jsem velice poctěna, že se tady s vámi mohu setkat a v následujících okamžicích bych vám ráda alespoň v hrubých obrysech přiblížila rozdíly mezi mou a americkou kulturou. Well, I hope you did not understand, but these couple sentences I've just said probably did not make any sense to you. They were in my mother language, in Czech. It means something like, hello, my name is Kristýna Vondráčková, it is my name. And I'm coming from a tiny country in a certain middle of Europe, Czech Republic. The capital of Czech Republic is Prague. I'm very glad to meet you all here. In the next couple of minutes, I would like to approach some differences between my and American culture. Well, although differences between America and Europe are not so huge, some matters are kind of different for me. For example, lifestyle or food, school, people's behavior, sense of humor, they are sometimes very difficult to understand for me. I'm supposed to speak about my impressions of America. First of all, I want to say I like America, but I'm used doing some things different way. I cannot imagine living in America all my life, but I really like it here. My way is not better or worse than American, it is just different. I decided to choose two topics I will speak about because the issue of differences is very wide. I've chosen school and entertainment as my topics because these topics touch all of us. So I will start with entertainment. We do not have any sports at school, so if you want to do one, you have to search for it. Very often we go to cafe, usually only two people who want to have a close conversation. I usually go to cafe 4 or 5 times a week, while school or after school before my running practice. In the evening after practice, it is about 8 a.m., I quite often just travel home by public transport and study. In weekdays, we only seldom go out in the evening. When we go, so usually to the movie theater, or to the bar, or to the concert of our friends. My friends and I from time to time create a play and practice in the evening, or have a performance in student theater. It's pretty common, all the students do that. In the weekend evenings, we usually go to the bar to have some beer and talk. About midnight, we go to dance to the club or to concert. We only seldom visit each other or stay at our friend's house because it is understood like bothering parents. Well, your parents allow you to do nearly everything you want, as far as you're able to deal with consequences, and you have to think before doing something. You are expected to be independent, responsible, respectful, and to take care of yourself. What else? Going to the tea rooms, this is special restaurants with tea only, is also very popular. The same as squash, golf, football, or pool. And about school, back at home, there live 100,000 people in my town. There are 3 high schools in my town, all of them had 300 students. Czech high school is not public. We have to pass examination when you are 12. If you don't attend high school, you have only very little chance to go to university. You attend high school for 8 years. During high school studies, you're prepared for studying at the university. You're taking 14 subjects a semester, including math, languages, social studies, science, PE, etc. So I also want to graduate in America. You have every subject about 3 times a week. Attendance is not necessary. They think it is your responsibility if you want to be educated or not, so you can skip subjects or your lessons whenever you want, but consequences are your problem. School usually starts at 9 a.m., but it depends on your schedule. You usually finish at 2 p.m. Lessons are a little bit shorter and breaks longer than at American school. Because you cannot choose your subjects, you and about 30 people who are your schoolmates spend nearly a whole day together. We don't have lunch breaks every day, only when we have more than 6 lessons. While our lunch break, we go to the school canteen or to some restaurant in a town. Lunch is the main meal of the day, so at school canteen you can choose of 3 full meals, like a soup and pasta or steak with potatoes. After 8 years on high school, you pass graduation testing and try examinations for university. When you pass, all your university studies are paid by the government. So it was nearly everything about these 2 topics I wanted to say to you. If you have any questions or you want to speak with me more, please don't be shy. It's the reason I choose to be exchange student. I want to meet new people. I'm very looking forward to meet with you. So find me after if you want, and have a nice day. Thank you.
Hello, I'm happy to be able to speak to you. I'm sorry, my English is very bad, but please listen to my speech. So, you need to be like my ear. Yeah? Yeah. This is a very famous toy in Japan. This isおはようございます。名前は金井敦です。日本の京都から来ました。This is Japanese, my native language. Good morning. My name is Atsushi Kanai. I'm from Kyoto, Japan. I'm 18. I'm shy and so very nervous now. My current host family is the 3rd family for me. My first host family is the Eric Griffin family, and my current host family is Ross Thomas family. They are very nice family. I like them. I will tell you about my city, Kyoto, and my first impression of the United States. Kyoto is 300 miles west from Tokyo. Kyoto was capital of Japan from 794 AD until 1868. Tokyo is the capital of Japan now. Kyoto is 1200 years old. There are many temples and shrines in Kyoto. I think Kyoto is the real Japan. But ninja and samurai are not in Kyoto. And they are not in Japan. If you go to Japan, you had better visit Kyoto. Please remember about my city, Kyoto. My first impression of the United States. The United States is very, very, very big. The United States is 30 times larger than Japan, but the US population is only twice the size of Japan. The US population is about 260 million. the Japanese population is about 130 million. So I feel very big. The difference between the two countries, for example, there are no garages in Japanese houses, so many Japanese people have to pay money for garages. Can you believe it? Japanese people walk on the left side, but the US people walk on the right side. I knew that before I came here, but I have not used to walking on the right side. So I sometimes bump into people. I'm sorry. When I cross the road, I watch right, then left and right. But in the United States, I have to watch left, then right, then left. So this is very hard and confusing and dangerous for me. And the steering wheel on Japanese car is on the right, but US is on the left. But so when I got in my host family's car, I got in on the left side seat, but I couldn't drive. Everything is fresh for me. Everything is a good experience for me. I'm happy to come to the United States, but I have a problem. My problem is my English skills. I try to do my best. I'm learning English right now. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. And congratulations once again to the 277 honorees here this morning. At this time, the assembly is over. I would like first to dismiss the honorees and their parents. And if you would remember that you can exit both to the south and the north, and if the student body would remain seated until you're dismissed. Thank you.